to you, Mayor Pete Buttigieg. How are you?
I'm good. Excited for us to see this through on Election Day.
Absolutely. This is the last push. What does today look like for you guys, and what is it going to take that last push to win Ohio?
Well, we think Ohio is going to remain a critical battleground state. And so the push right now is to make sure that everyone knows how important it is for you to exercise that right to vote, especially our supporters who maybe are seeing some numbers that Joe Biden's way up in the national polls. That's nice, but it only counts if you actually get out there and vote. We got early voting today, I think into early afternoon. We got some folks who still have those mail ballots to drop off. And then, of course, Election Day tomorrow. And we just want to make sure not one vote is left on the table because people weren't sure what to do. You can get great info at iwillvote.com, or because people didn't think it mattered. It absolutely does. And this is the election of our lifetimes and our chance to put the chaos behind us and move into something better.
Yeah, early voting here in Ohio goes until 2 p.m. for those of you who are watching prior to 2 p.m. So the president won by 8 points more 4 years ago. The polls are virtually tied right now here in Ohio. How confident are you that the former Vice President Biden is able to regain Ohio?
Well, we believe that we will win if everybody takes the opportunity to vote. But that's a big if. Some folks stayed home last time around. That's part of how this president got elected. I think this time's going to be different, but we're leaving nothing to chance. And so, the vice president and all of us who support him are continuing all the way until polls close to spread that message that, the crises that face this country, from the pandemic to the economic downturn, it doesn't have to be like this. And changing it starts by changing our leader.
I don't know if you know this or not. I'm sure your team has told you you're kind of TikTok famous. There have been several viral clips of you going around from station to station stumping for the vice president. Why are you such a vocal proponent for your former opponent?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I got to know him best when we were competing for the same nomination. But during that process, I saw the qualities that are going to make him a great president. He's somebody whose first instinct when he gets up in the morning is to bring people together. He's got a clear vision of what he wants to do, especially in terms of expanding healthcare, making the economy work for all of us, and of course, beating this virus. But it's also something about his tone, his style, his approach that I think America absolutely needs at this moment. So I'm enthusiastic. I'm not just campaigning against Donald Trump, although I think so many of us, by the way, including a lot of traditionally conservative groups, veterans, seniors, people of faith, Republicans, even registered Republicans, saying that, this president is just not speaking for us. But it's not just what we're against, it's what we're for, a president who can lead us to a better place. And that's why I'm so fired up.
So speaking of traditionally Republican or Democrat, the Pittsburgh Post Gazette yesterday came out and endorsed Donald Trump, first endorsement in many, many decades. What do you think that means for people who, especially in the Ohio Valley area of Ohio, Youngstown, Steubenville, down the Ohio River Valley, that one of their main newspapers and a really what is formerly a Democratic stronghold comes out and endorses President Trump? Do you think Vice President Biden can overcome that in Pennsylvania as well as the Ohio Valley area?
I think so. I think most people are thinking for themselves. I mean, look, Joe Biden's a product of Scranton, Pennsylvania, a community that resembles so many of our communities here in the industrial Midwest. And at the end of the day, this president talks a big game, but on his watch, jobs are down. Our health is worse. The country's standing around the world has collapsed. And, I've seen so many workers and working families who some of whom were ready, 4 years ago to vote for anything that looked like a big change. But now we've seen the kind of change this president represents, and it is not one that's making workers or families better off.
What does a 4-year Trump presidency look like versus an 8-year Trump presidency?
Well, look, we've seen what 4 years did to us. We are a nation in chaos. We're divided. We're suffering the worst pandemic outbreak in the world. And that was just the first 4 years. If there were another 4 years, I don't know that the U.S. could recover. I mean, just think about how tough it is to, for a lot of families, get through Thanksgiving dinner the way we've been divided and pitted against each other. Think about what's happened in terms of just the stability of this country and the economy. Donald Trump's on track in his first term to be the first president to lose jobs across a term at this rate since Herbert Hoover. Imagine what a second term might look like. And it's not a pretty picture. But again, this isn't just about what we're against. Joe Biden is offering an economic vision where wages are higher, workers are supported, healthcare is expanded, childcare is finally affordable for everybody. We get things like paid family leave. That's a much better offer than 4 more years of mean tweets and shouting.
What is your final push to those who are still on the fence? I feel like more than half of Ohio, probably more than half of the country, has already voted. For those who might not be getting out to vote, or those who still have not made up their mind, what is your final push to encourage them to do so?
Well, if you're still making up your mind, I'm asking you to see that it's okay to change your mind, that, maybe you're used to voting one party, but you're ready to vote for the person this time. And you can join an amazing coalition of former Republicans and even current Republicans alongside independents and Democrats voting for Joe Biden. If you're making up your mind whether to vote, all I can say is that we're counting on you. The country is counting on you. I served overseas in uniform, and there are people who paid an unbelievable cost in order to make it possible for all of us to vote. And I think about them, and I think about what's been given for us to have that right. Please get out there and use it.
All right, one last question. Why was it a priority for Joe Biden to be in Ohio today, this day before the big election day?
Well, I think, this is a state that really brings together so many of the issues that are at hand. People are dealing with the economic and the health consequences of the failed leadership of Donald Trump, and they're looking for somebody to bring us together. I think Joe Biden's excited for one more chance to take that message directly to voters. Now, you'll notice he'll do it in a way that's safe, that respects the health and safety of his supporters, but he's on the ground because it matters so much.
All right, Mayor Pete, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for being with us today.
Sure thing. Good to be with you.
All right,
Take care.
Thank you.